cover the doorway as they start to defuse. Hengu goes for one on the Young. Can he go the second?
Min, what are you doing? What just happened? Why are you sprinting, Bio?
Hungry, he gets the angry!
Oh, he's like Moringa, are you ready for this?
Oh!
Yes! Bango, are you kidding me?
Why am I so much?
And gentlemen, and I see my camera's not working, but hello and welcome while we try and get that working. And I see that David's frozen, but technical issues, of
Am I
course.
frozen?
Yeah, not oh, he was just really standing
Yeah, I
still.
was, yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, welcome to another episode of SiegeGG Live, David, as I try and figure out this issue with my
Your
camera.
cam is not working?
Yeah, apparently. Trying to give it a
Mm.
shot. No, that's not working. But how are you feeling, David, today? There's a lot of Siege to be had this week.
Honestly, I'm feeling well. We have lots of things coming today. We have like European Challenger League and Brasileirão. They are heading to the final week, which is the Super Week. They are playing on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we will know what 4 teams from Brazil are going to play in the Copa Elite 6. But that's what's to come. This week we have had many competitions, and we have had some upsets. So yeah, I'm looking forward to talking about them, especially on North America. We have seen TSM and XZ struggling after starting well. Then we have in Europe we have like G2's first victory of the stage, and in APAC we have Invictus Gaming winning finally, not having to play an overtime, which is like something that we didn't see before this week. And yeah, I'm just I'm thinking of what happened, and and I don't know. So yeah, that's a little bit like the summary of what happened at the week. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I can, I can. They cannot hear you.
Now you guys should be able to hear me. Well, there we go. Okay, technical issues aside, thank you, Debbie, for covering for me, and
That's fine,
nice
that's
little
fine.
summary of what was coming. You should be able to hear me now. We are going to head right into it. I'm kind of screwing those up. Lots to talk about. Really lots to talk about this week. Siege is really pushing up. So let's start with APAC as we usually do. So APAC is turning out to be a very interesting region in APAC North, particularly. So this week, three things happened. FAV and Spear Gaming, they're out of Berlin Major running. They cannot be top 2. FAV have just, aside from the first day where they pushed Talon to overtime, 8-6, they haven't looked good at all after that. They are 1 point. Spear Gaming is 0 points, although that's a little bit, it feels a little bit like harsh for Spear, because like let's be honest, they are not playing on full strength. NL should be in their team. I11 has a back injury. They lost like 3-7-5 games, I think, or like 2-7-5 games. And they probably would have won both had they had I11 there just to push up that fragging firepower. But that aside, I think this week we really need to watch out for 2 results. The first one, of course, is Reject beating Talon 7-4. And that is really absolutely a wild scenario that's happened, because it's been looking like for a lot of days that Japan Siege is really in the doldrums. It's not doing well. They're struggling. CAG last week, they lost in overtime to Fnatic, and Fnatic looked really poor, etc. And right now, Reject are looking to carry the torch because they are the highest ranked Japanese team right now in APAC North. They're only 2 points behind Sandbox Gaming and 3 points behind Damwon. Now their run-in after this is really is not great for them because they first face Damwon, and then on the last day they play against CAG. So it's going to be a little bit tough for them, but they have Spear in between to kind of give them the a little bit of a push, just a little bit of momentum. They are guaranteed 3 points essentially, given how they are playing. But David, from what you've seen of Reject, are they the real deal? Could we see them displace either Sandbox or Damwon here and qualify to Berlin?
Honestly, I don't think so. I think this week they played on Villa against Talon. I remember seeing a very, very well coordinated rush with bleeds and that was a really good play. I think that Reject has improved, like in terms of coordination and in terms of playing as a team, and I think they have improved from stage 1. I just think they are not there. They cannot be compared to Damwon and Sandbox Gaming. In fact, they lost to Sandbox Gaming the first play day of the stage. They still have to play against Damwon.
7-5.
Yeah, it was a close one. It was a close match. It was a close game. I mean, Good Boy made the difference, and we know that Good Boy is crazy sometimes. But on paper, like, I don't think they're going to qualify. Just like Damwon Gaming have. Both Damwon Gaming and Sandbox Gaming have more experience than them.
But
I think that. Yeah, sorry. What were you going to say?
I mean, you're absolutely right, and I wanted to point out like the run-in of these two teams in the final 3 play days. So Reject, as you said, and as Chad has noted, they're first playing Damwon. They're probably not beating Damwon. Fine, no, that's I expected. But after that, they play Spear. That should be 3 points, and then they play on the final day CAG. And look, CAG lost to Fnatic. CAG have really looked unimpressive. They only really pushed Sandbox to maximum overtime. They were pushed to 7-5 against Spear as well, and they are honestly maybe just not going to be in the fight by the time Playday 7 rolls around. Whereas Reject potentially could get 6 points on their final 2 playdays, Playday 6 and 7. Playday 5, of course, if they actually manage an upset, even if they get 1 point against Damwon, it will be pretty big, but I doubt that's happening. Sandbox, on the other hand, they have to play FAV. That's a free win, essentially, for Sandbox. But then they play Talon. And while Talon dropped the ball this week by losing to Reject, it is not impossible that Talon beats Sandbox. If Sandbox has an off day, like they seem to have an off day against CAG on Playday 2, and then on the final Playday, Sandbox plays Damwon. So it's possible that Sandbox only get 3 points from these final 3 Playdays, and Reject basically can get 6. The gap between them right now is 2 points, so that would put Reject up ahead of them by 1 point. And even if Reject maybe wins one of those matches in overtime, it then will come down to round differential, which, given the relatively easier run-in that Reject has, because round differential wise right now Sandbox is +9, Reject is +8. Reject is going to stomp Spear the same way that Sandbox are going to stomp FAV. These are going to be very important games for both these teams for their round differential. And then Sandbox is probably going to lose round differential against Damwon. Whether that'll be close or it'll be like a one-sided affair, we don't know. Reject, if they perform well and if Cyclops is an off day, which we know that they're a very streaky team, they get very mentally caught up within themselves. If CSG are like thrown in the towel, like, oh damn, we can't do anything, then we could see Reject really just smash the shit out of CAG and like make quite a bit of ground up against Sandbox.
Mhm.
Odin's in chat, and he's asking whether Odin, being the coach for Direwolves, asking whether it's head-to-head. I don't think it is, because I know Liquipedia lists it head-to-head, but I'm pretty sure when we were deciding the playoff spots in Stage 1, it was a round difference thing. Unless they also changed it in Stage 2. They have been, like, messing quite a little bit with the format, Odin.
Yeah, maybe they changed it. Like right now, yeah, head-to-head is the main tiebreak differential right now.
Yeah, that's what it says
I
on
don't know.
Wikipedia, but I don't
Yeah.
think it is, because I think I saw the league table one day, and I noticed that it was different from the Wikipedia one. One of the
Mhm.
APAC regions, I don't know whether it was North or South, and I think it was based on round differential instead. So we're
Mhm.
gonna have to see. They'll clarify it. But the point is,
Mhm.
even on pure points, Reject has a chance. If they get
Mhm.
to Berlin, David, how far do you think they can go?
No, I wouldn't even ask this question. Honestly, I wouldn't ask. I still remember Cyclops debut
Okay,
at an international competition. Like it was rally, and that didn't
yeah,
end well. It didn't end well. Like it was very, very, very brief. Um, so I think that if it happens, it's gonna be the same for them. Like it's
yeah,
going to be a good international experience.
yeah, probably.
You know, very first experience. But I just think Reject is not like, you know, they are not going to be like in the fight, and
Yeah,
that's why I don't. I hope they do not qualify. I think that Damwon and Sandbox like
yeah.
can represent APAC, yeah, and on another level. You know,
Also for
especially
SI
Damwon.
points in the
Yeah,
end of it.
exactly. We always repeat the same. We always say the same. APAC is in a really bad situation right now. For the APAC, for the six invitational points. Sorry. So we reject qualifying will be like the best for APAC.
Reject
Yeah.
not qualifying, yeah.
If Yeah, exactly. If the tiebreaker is the head-to-head, then that puts reject in a even worse situation because they lost to Sandbox 7-5.
Yeah, then they have to get 6
Um,
points at the very
exactly,
least. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. Obviously against someone, I think that the most logical thing to say is that they are going to lose. Obviously, something else can happen, but that's the prediction that uh, the big majority of the casters is going to have.
Yeah.
Um, and they are playing Spare Gaming fair. They are most likely going to win this game, which is very important as well for their just remember, okay, they are fighting for Berlin major spot, but they are still in the relegation battle. 3 points
Yeah.
right now can make a difference. So they have to win that. They cannot forget that they are still in that fight.
Yeah. They
So
have made a
yes,
good
and then anything
amount
can
of
happen.
progress. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, like,
If
no matter what happens, the progress is
Mhm,
going to be a big plus point for them. At the end of this stage, they're
mhm,
going to look back, whatever happens, like, had they not changed the format, for example, they would be going to the playoffs. Like, we would be
mhm,
talking like how Reject are almost 100% going to playoffs at this point. Like, it would be like a bygone thing. But, you know, a
yeah.
team that could have actually even missed out on playoffs, had the playoffs existed, and will almost certainly miss out on Berlin, Talon
Mm,
Esports, and the other team that Reject defeated on play day
mhm,
4. Big
mhm,
shock, I guess, for this team who were one round away from beating Odin's team,
yeah.
Direwolves, in the APAC playoffs in Stage 1. Instead, they lost that one round. They choked that one before. And after that, they made 2 big roster changes. In light of
Mhm,
that, Talon's performance has been quite okay.
mm,
They started off with a win, then they got another against Spear. After that, it was a reasonably okay game against Damwon. Um, but these past 2 play days really haven't been great for them, and they really
mhm,
need to finish the season strong to justify like Marble and Misa justify making such a big change. But yeah, their hopes are pretty much dead, even though they play CAG, who they should beat, and Fnatic as well in the final play, who they also should beat. It's just that, look, they're already 6 points behind Sandbox. Berlin is basically gone out of the question.
Yeah, honestly, you have to check at these teams' schedules. It's a bit unfair for example, Talon. They already have played against Damwon. Well, no, not for Talon, but who I was thinking about now. Fnatic, for example, they played against Damwon. They played against Cyclops. They have played against Sandbox. Obviously, with just 7 play days, then you head to the final 3 with like very small hopes to qualify because you have already lost for 3 games. Mainly because you have played against some of the best teams in the league. Something similar happened to other teams. So yeah, the calendar also affects, but
yeah, but you know,
yeah,
it is
that's
really
something
what
I
it
wanted
is.
to point out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is. Obviously, if you are not ready to like win against these teams, then
Every
obviously you don't
single
deserve
team.
the major spot.
Exactly.
So exactly, but obviously it affects. So yeah, Fab Gaming is more or less the situation for them. They are going to play Fnatic and Spare Gaming with like no chances of qualifying.
Yeah.
And about Talon, I think that they exceeded my expectations after the changes they made.
Yeah,
But
Marble and
still,
Misa
it's a
have
bit
looked good.
disappointing to see. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a bit
but then at the same
disappointing.
time, like I'm just gonna point out in this very same league we have Reject, who were nowhere in stage 1, and now we are seriously talking about them as potential Berlin qualifiers. So just give talent time. You know, the fact that they've performed, as David said, at this well, it's a good sign. They just have to keep up that progress and like be able to work and relax during the time where the teams going into Berlin won't have the time to relax. Is what happened in Charlotte, right? Reject got to chill and consistently practice, whereas those who went to Charlotte had to didn't really have a break, and they came back and they had to work a little bit extra hard without really much of a break. And that's why Reject has been able to kind of also make some ground up. So we'll see what happens with them. But I think now it's time to move on to APAC South, where we had a very or nearly controversial situation this week. So the controversy started when Ubisoft Connect, or Uplay, as it was previously known, went down about like 30 minutes before Direwolves was set to play against Fury. So what happened was Direwolves, initially all of the players could not even launch the game, even in the offline mode. That was becoming a problem. Eventually 4 players managed to join, the 5th couldn't. So they tried to get this substitute in. But you know, this is like a 10-minute clock. So like they give you a reporting time of like you have to be in the lobby by 4 or 5 p.m. right? And then they give you 10 minutes extra or something like that afterwards. So that timer ran out because the substitute then had to launch his anti-cheat software as well, which takes a long time to launch and for it to launch the game as well. So then, you know, they ruled like, oh, we are going to disqualify Direwolves and we're going to give Fury a 7-0 victory, a forfeit victory. So round difference also goes 7-0 in Fury's favor. If you guys remember, this is very similar to what happened in favor of Direwolves last stage against IG. Except this time, so last time it was an issue with the internet service provider in Singapore. And that's also not IG's fault. Let me just make it abundantly clear. But I guess Ubisoft were they're not changing their mindset back then. Maybe that was like a necessary evil that needed to happen for them to learn from for this stage. Because this stage, they realized, look, it's our own fault. Our own servers died. So it doesn't make any sense to forfeit Direwolves. So they reversed the forfeit decision, they played the game, and amazingly and very importantly for Direwolves, they won 7-5. They got all 3 points. Instead of having a -7 on the round differential, they got a +2. So that's like a +9 swing in essence from what the original situation was. And mind you, Fury is a good team. So like now Direwolves are back in the fight. They are just 1 point behind Knights, who are in second, and 2 points behind Elevate, who are in first. Direwolves could still make it to Berlin despite their tough start, where they only got 2 points over Elevate, and then they lost to Wildcard as well.
First of all, I want to say that I think that the decision was the good one. Like, I think that APAC or like they have learned, Ubisoft has learned. I think that IG should have played last stage. So them giving a chance to Direwolf to play, despite the problems, says that they are improving. So like that's the good decision. That was a good call. Yeah, I think that now we have IG Direwolves and Gaming Gladiators with 7 points. APAC South standings are so side right now. We have wildcard. As I said in other day.
Yeah, you did.
In other days, it was a bit clear, at least to me, that wildcard wouldn't be able to keep up with the other team's pace, and they lost to IG, not on overtime. As I was saying before, that's surprising. And that win gives IG wings because they are now in third place, and we could see them playing Berlin. But yeah, it's anyone's game right now. Anyone's besides Chiefs.
Yeah, so Chiefs are effectively out of the running. They're not actually out of the running. Like, theoretically, they could win all 3 of their matches, get 9 points, shoot up to 10, and then, like, I don't know, Elevate, Knights, but everyone else below them just, like, doesn't get the points. I think mathematically it's not, But, like, effectively, Chiefs are done. Chiefs have not won a single game, and I can only imagine that it's, like, a combination of burnout plus the fact that they've lost half of the APAC North scrim partners, or maybe even more than half, after the drama with the ping and the Korean community that happened in Stage 1 during APAC playoffs. So it looks like Chiefs are just absolutely dying after that. Wildcard, quote-unquote, brought back down to reality, which is absolutely true. They got smashed 7-2 by the Knights. A fairly confident 7-4 win from IG again. And then now they have to play Elevate next. After that, they play Gaming Gladiators. And then, they only end off with, like, the quote-unquote easiest game of the season, aka Chiefs at this point. So realistically, they're going to be at 9 points, and they're going to stay at 9 points, and they're not going to get more than that, which is basically definitely going to put them out of Berlin qualification. Gaming Gladiators also, another team that took a fair hit this week. It was a game of P1 versus P2. Elevate in P2 versus Gaming Gladiators in P1. Elevate got all 3 points, and they looked really good doing it. Onigiri, in the post-match interview, he said, "I didn't expect these guys to take us to Cafe," which may be a saving grace. Because taking Elevate to Cafe, as like even international teams know, don't do it. It's not smart. Elevate are really good at Cafe. It's one of their best maps. So Gaming Gladiators maybe had a tactical misstep, but they're not out of the running just yet. Direwolves this upcoming week, is going to be a massive, massive game. Both these teams are on 7 points. Both these teams have basically the same round differential. And then after that, Gaming Gladiators plays Wildcard and finally ends off with Knights, which is that final game is also going to be huge because Knights are quite likely going to be around the same level. So it's going to be crazy. Just like so many teams.
Yeah, I'm just paying attention to the schedule, and I see that IG has to play against the Chiefs, then they are playing against Fury, and then they are playing against Direwolves.
Yeah, so
they have like very solid chances to qualify.
Yeah, but of course we know how sloppy IG loves to be.
Yeah,
and I can 100% see them losing to Fury, even though. And let's be real, Fury are a good team. Fury are difficult to beat right now, as Direwolves and Gaming Gladiators and Wildcard will attest. That's 3-7-5 losses for Fury. There could have easily been 7-5 victories for Fury instead. And then we'll be talking about like, oh, Fury have just completely turned it around with BG Man and Napew. It's not impossible that IG lose. IG love being sloppy, so they have one game more to fix that before it's do or die, because Fury and Direwolves cannot be sloppy against these two teams. They'll punish you for it. And let's be real, Direwolves also have been like still recovering from like the COVID diagnoses, which they have been like fighting against for the past 2 weeks now. Now they are like finally in the clear, and like EDA and Harambe are kind of feeling better. So don't forget, like Direwolves are going to be the toughest test I think that IG are going to face this season. Although their other clashes against the top teams was pretty good. 8-6 against Knights, a loss. 8-6 against Gaming Gladiators, a win. And 8-7 against Elevate, a loss. So the other top two challengers, they are basically at par. It's just the luck hasn't really gone their way. So maybe IG make it, maybe they don't. It's just almost impossible to predict.
It's very difficult to predict, exactly.
Now, speaking of another league that's extremely, extremely hard to predict, David, it's over
Which
to
one
you.
isn't hard to predict?
Another one that is really hard to predict.
Yeah.
That's BR6, and we are starting our Super Week today, David. Talk us through that.
Today.
Talk us through what happened
today,
in week 4 and like what's happening today.
Today, Super Week starts, and it starts in exactly 2 hours and 1 minute time from now. And this weekend, this past weekend, has been wild, except for one team, W7M Esports. They are just chilling at the top of the standings with 15 points. I would say they are already qualified, but that's not true, at least not mathematically. But they are probably going to like qualify today for Copa League 6. Remember, the Brazilian teams have to play a Copa League 6 against 2 South American teams and 2 Mexican teams. But other than apart from W7M Esports, we have Fury Esports in second with 11 points, Black Dragons in third with 11 points, Team 1 in fourth with 11 points, and then we have FaZe Clan in fifth with 9, MIBR and 00 Nation with 8, Liquid with 7, NIP with 6, and INTZ with 4. Honestly, INTZ just has 1% of qualifying for the Copa League 6. It's thinking that they have something to fight for right now. It's a bit delusional, but any other team could qualify. Any other team could qualify. And I was saying, oh, NIP will not qualify for Copa League 6. Watch out, okay? Watch out. Because NIP are playing against Furia, Black Dragons, and Team 1.
Yeah.
All of them are in the top 4. All of them are favorites to defeat NIP. But if they actually win the games, they could qualify. They could qualify. I just don't think so. I think that we are not going to see them in Berlin, which ultimately means that they are going to play in the 6 Invitational regional qualifiers, because they haven't got they got 0 points in stage 1. They are going to get 0 points in stage 2, and unless they have a deep run in stage 3's major, they are going to play the regional qualifiers. So basically that's it. Last weekend we saw a very sloppy one and Black Dragons. They lost both games, and that's why they are with 11 points now. They headed to last weekend as the leaders of the championship, and now they are on the verge of missing out on top 4, but they are still there. And it was a good weekend for those that are not in the top 4, because One and BD losing their games means that Liquid, FaZe Clan, even 00 Nation or MIBR cut the difference from 4 or 5 points to just 2. So Super Week got very, very spicy. Games to look forward to this weekend. The first one, Fury against Black Dragons at 6 o'clock in 2 hours time. That's a very very important game for the standings. The winner of the if it's a regulation win, it's going to get 3 more points and 14 points. I think that is going to be enough to qualify for Copa Elite 6. We will see. But last stage 14 was enough. And we have also Liquid against FaZe. That's a classic. I would say it's Brazilian's Clásico. Um, but other than that, every game has like some storyline, and every game is going to be very very exciting. Not just for like Copa League 6 qualification, but as I said, there are many storylines. Fury and Black Dragons. It's like Handy and Nate. They are brothers, so they are facing each other today. W7M. They are going for like another unbeaten record. They lost the first game, but they could like win 8 in a row, which is equaling their record from last stage. We have like 0-0 Nation trying to climb to the top 4. One and Lagon is one and Maya's one trying to qualify for Berlin. There are many, many, many things here that we could see like Liquid missing out on a major, which is weird because they are a very consistent team, and yeah, that's a little bit what's happening in Brazil. If I had to say a top 4, I would say W7M, Team 1, Furia, and I would like to see Black Dragons, but they are like professionals at losing.
Dude, I just
like, yeah, sorry.
I just was shocked. Like, yeah, as you said, they're professional at like throwing it away at the end.
Yeah.
But, like, dude, I was so hyped for W7M versus Black Dragons. I stayed up. It starts at midnight for me. I was like, I'm gonna watch this shit. And like, W7M rolled them 7-1. Like, it was not even close. It was supposed to be like, oh shit, it's P1 versus P2. Like the clash of the two of the best teams in BR6 right now, and it was not even close. So like Black Dragons. Then after that, the next day they lost to 0-0 Nation.
Yeah. It's difficult to say. But Black Dragons needs Patoxy and Eon to work like both. Patoxy had a really really good game against 0-0 Nation. If I'm not mistaken, he got like 20 kills. And still 0-0 Nation won on maximum overtime. But Eon had a really bad weekend. Patoxy has been like one of the team saver this stage. But yeah, I was talking about this before. The other day. On stage 1, we saw a very very good Nate getting all the a big majority of the frags. Because Patoxy and Eon were not working well together. The difference from this stage to last stage is that Patoxy and Eon finally got to work together, and the younger pieces of the team melted together, and they created a very very good roster that was capable of winning like the most important teams in the region, like starting with important wins against Liquid, FaZe Clan, MIBR, but yeah, this last weekend we saw that maybe the problem is not solved. But I just think that Black Dragon's future is still on their hands for sure. They are playing Furia and Team 1 this weekend, so basically winning against both, they should qualify if that happens. Is it going to happen though? They are professional throwers. Last Six Invitational, they lost 3-2 against MIBR in the Six Invitational 2022 regional qualifier. They are professionals at throwing the important games. It happened in last year's stage 2. They lost the qualifier game to Mexico. It happened in Las Vegas, the minor in Las Vegas in 2019. they lost against Team One. So yeah, they have been very very close to qualifying for international events, but they have always not make it. Like they always manage to choke, and I'm afraid this can happen again this weekend. I hope not, because Black Dragons is one of my favorite brands in Siege. They have done so much for the scene. They have been in the game since 2017. They have a women's team in Brazil. They have discovered so many players in the region, and done so many things like for the region itself. But yeah, I hope they qualify, but I'm not sure if they are going to qualify. Would hope yes, but we will see.
Yeah, I look. I don't know. It'll be a particular low point for Liquid, especially. I see a couple of people.
Watch out, because I still think that Liquid
Yeah.
can make it.
Yeah, I see. I've been while you've been talking, I've been looking at chat to talk about Liquid's chances. So let's talk about those Liquid's chances. So Liquid, as we noted, David, in your preview that actually just went out like an hour ago about the BR6 Super Week, that it would be a very significant low point, and I think the lowest point for Liquid in their whole history, to not qualify for even Copa Elite 6, which would obviously put them out of qualification range for a Berlin major.
Yes.
But as you said, look, they are 4 points behind Team 1. NIP is looking in fairly decent nick. They could take points of Team 1. Then W7M is 100% going to take points off Team 1. Probably going to beat them like straight up 3 points kind of a situation. And then, of course, this is BD. So, like, let's assume, right, like Team 1 gets 6 points. But then you have Black Dragons also who like to choke, right? So then there's Furia, who, as we touched on earlier, Furia, Nip, and Team 1 that Black Dragons face. Black Dragons may only get 3 points. Liquid, on the other hand, they take on MIBR after they take on Double Nation, and then they take on FaZe. It's possible that they make it, but and like Ask is obviously playing well. Nesk and Palu have not been playing well, and I think that is the only reason why they are in this situation. And the thing is, we talked about this last week as well. It just kind of takes one game for them to just switch on and regain their form, but they have been at this level for so very long that there will be a point where they're just not going to be able to push it and play that well anymore. Good news is they're no longer in like the bottom 12 anymore. Let's see where they are. They're like bottom 20, right? Rated in BR6, but bottom 20 out of 50 players is like, alright, they're playing average. So Liquid are not out of this yet. Nesk and Palu are pushing for this. NIP are not out of this yet too, but as David noted, very good chance that they end up actually just playing spoiler, being gatekeepers for Team 1 or being gatekeepers for BD and Furia. It's crazy.
That's crazy, and I honestly think that Liquid has a very not easy schedule, because in Brazil no one is easy. But I would say that their schedule is slightly better than other teams, because they are playing MABR, who is a team that hasn't been solid in Stage 2. They have been having some downs, especially maybe they are getting used to Dark as a new coach.
Apparently,
they can
I think it might be.
win against MABR. Then they are playing against 0-0 Nation, and they are also facing FaZe Clan in the last game of the stage. I hope that Liquid has still chances to make it by playing against FaZe, because that's going to be the best of one in the season. Liquid and FaZe always leave the best performances in the scene in Brazil.
Good
honestly.
rivalry,
So very very good rivalry. And yeah, honestly, like I'm looking forward to Liquid's weekend, because if Palu manages, and Nesk obviously manage to play not at their best,
But
but
just, yeah, a
just
little bit better.
just a bit better,
Exactly.
Liquid is going to be
They're gonna
in the
make it.
fight.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's going to be in the fight,
So
especially with NIP and BD being like, yeah, gatekeepers, as you
yeah.
said.
So Thunder's era in chat, he's saying that according to Liquid themselves, that they tried to change the style of play after what happened in Charlotte. And so, like, we talked about this, I think, pre-Charlotte. I think I talked about it, or was it you, David? About the 5 ends, about, like, how the 5 players kind of converge onto one point, and they are each tasked with getting some amount of map control on themselves. So it looks like they tried to do that, and like, open up, like, get a couple of picks, get map control. But it seems like Liquid have admitted that it was the wrong moment to try and make the change, and that's caused them to drop points against teams like INTZ, against BD, against Furia, against W7M, where they didn't really give that good of a fight. And as we saw, Palu and Nesk were very poor statistically. So against Team 1, they apparently reverted to what worked for them in Stage 1, and bam, 7-3 victory against Team 1. Ask absolutely on fire. Palu and Nesk also, I think, had a really, really good game in the sense that they basically pulled themselves out of, like, not really a really good game, but, like, they went 7-7, both of them. Not too bad. I guess they're trying to regain the form. It's not too bad because, like, Ask is on Zofia and he's still getting those entries and he's still getting those kills, and they didn't really have that much to do when it's just 10 rounds, I guess. So it kind of worked out that way for them. So yeah, if they just go back to what works, we know how well that thing, their old playstyle works. So you might be right, David, that bringing in Dark as a coach, maybe he tried to make some changes. And not putting this on Dark. Obviously, the team wanted to make those changes after Charlotte. They were thinking, like, okay, we need to make a way to... We need to change our playstyle where we can win a title. Alright? But it was, like, obviously at the wrong moment and a little bit premature. Doesn't work in Brazil, whatever. Figured it out later. Get to the Copa Elite 6 first. Get to Berlin first. Then they will see what happens. So... yeah, Liquid, good chance of making it.
Honestly, these kind of changes, like before Stage 2 or after Stage 2, you have to make these changes if you want to qualify for 6 Invitational 2022, or, well, the next 6 Invitational. Because you find yourself in a place that, if you continue playing like this, you are not going to win anything, and they are competing to win, they are not competing to just play. So bringing a coach might be the long-term good decision, but it can be like a short-term bad decision because it's changing lots of things at the same time, and that can affect like the performance of a team. Last year, with the combined system standings, teams in Brazil had the chance to, do these kind of changes, like drastic changes to the squad, and still, having a decent stage, but still qualifying because maybe last stage the point you got like a good number of points and you could like change or play with your roles, etc. Remember that Liquid made the changes. They brought Ask and they brought resets after the Mexico Major. Maybe that right now, you bring them and the points are not, like the performances are not the same because they have to adapt to the league or to the system, etc. So I think that making changes like this is a brave move, but obviously it can have like some bad situations, and I think that maybe teams like MIBR are finding themselves in that spot. With Dark. Dark is a really good analyst and coach. He has showed that in when he was working for FaZe Clan. I think he was key at winning the Sweden major, and I think that he's going to help MIBR on the long term. Maybe he's not right now the players have to adapt to the system and everything. We'll see. But Super Week, it's going to be really interesting. We'll see. Who do you think is going to qualify for Copa Elite 6?
If I had to bet, obviously W7M. I think Furia are going to make it as well. I just believe in Furia. Like, they just make it work every single time. And as you highlighted in your article as well, David, last stage they were 9th.
Yeah.
And then they were 4th on the final play day. Like, just before the Super Week. So, like, Furia can do it. So, like, I think right now they're in a very good position. They're in 2nd place. I think they can make it. So below them, I think it starts being a little bit sketchy, but I think it's going to be Liquid and Team 1 that are going to follow up.
Hopefully, I don't know. Like, I would like to see Liquid in Berlin. But there are so many teams I would like to see in Berlin. Like, I feel like Zero
Who we are
Nation.
probably not going to see, though, is FaZe.
Yeah, I don't think FaZe is going to qualify, honestly. They are playing against INTZ, they are playing against MIBR, and then Liquid. We could see them. But I feel like maybe INTZ upsets FaZe Clan today. I don't know, man. It's a difficult call. Honestly, I think that W7M are going to qualify. I think that Fury is going to qualify as well. Then I hope that one qualifies, and I would like to see 00 Nation qualifying for Berlin, but I don't think they're going to. So I think it's going to be up to Black Dragons or Team Liquid, depending on Black Dragon performances.
Yeah. It's tough for Black Dragons. I think it'll be really cool to see Black Dragons qualify. But I think it'll take like an upset victory against Furia or Team 1, which is consequently likely going to push Furia or Team 1 out of the top 4, which will cause like a big upheaval. It's really hard to predict, and you have to just take it day by day, starting with today in 1 hour and 43 minutes from here. So we're going to see how things work out. We might just see this, like the whole field kind of get stratified a little bit more. We were talking about how BR6 was like really tight, but it's now a little bit less tight. You have Team 1 in 11 points, and then you have NIP in like 6 points. So there's like a 5-point gap at this stage, and it's probably, after tonight, I think it's going to get a little bit wider. Furia, Liquid, FaZe, W7M, and Team 1, who I predict will win, which is just gonna take W7M, Furia, Team 1, and FaZe further out of reach from teams like MIBR, Liquid, NIP, and INTZ. So probably gonna stratify a little bit more. But it's always a crazy set of games in Brazil, and this past week was no surprise at all, no surprise whatsoever, and we'll see whether we can see maybe an improbable comeback as well from someone like NIP, whether they'll just be playing gatekeepers. Now, speaking of gatekeepers, I think it's time to have a look at Europe. And in Europe, the teams are still only 4 play days in out of 9. So while BR6 is wrapping up its season, like its stage 2, the BR6 stage 2, not Copa Elite 6, is wrapping up stage 2 this weekend. NAL is wrapping it up next week. These guys are not even halfway through, despite their Super Week that happened this week. So there's a lot of chance that teams like Pones or Outsiders might play gatekeepers, and G2 could play gatekeepers as well, being literally in Berlin as well, because it seems like Outsiders, Pones, and especially G2 might be in Berlin, but look, they and Outsiders and Pones, they're not going to the Berlin Major.
They are 4 meters away from the venue, man. 400 meters away from the venue.
It's really not looking good. Like, G2 got the first win, and it was against Na'Vi. Like, oh, big surprise! Like, it's Na'Vi. Like, Na'Vi, Team Secret are like the 2 teams that they're probably gonna beat. Like, you would say that they should be beating Outsiders and Pones as well, but dude, I don't know, man. Like I don't trust them. I don't trust them to beat outsiders and Pones. Pones freaking smash Navi. So like big deal. They can beat G2 as well. Outsiders beat Secret as well. So like it's G2 are at that level right now. So it's just not looking good. I don't know whether that was this week. Sorry, very very quickly. Because I know we're piling on G2 and we love to pile on G2 because it's fun, right? And I've kind of skipped one of their talking points, but there was this hilarious tweet from Fresh or Jack Allen. He's the EUCL and APAC North analyst. If you saw, there was APAC Reject who basically pulled off a beautiful rush execute on Villa with the blitz and everything, and he tweeted, let me see if I can just pull it up over here, because I think it absolutely kills me, this whole reaction.
Nobody showed G2 Esports.
Yes, nobody showed of APAC North team trying the rush on Villa versus VDS and executing it 10 times better. And then Doki replies over here, hey, I killed someone with blitz, so just saying. And Fresh destroys G2. I got my kill is something I speculate gets said a lot in G2 these days, and I think that is extremely funny, and the fact that Doki didn't even push back too much against it, I think look, there might be some truth to this, because otherwise I don't really have an explanation for why the hell G2 is playing so badly after a quarterfinals appearance in Charlotte. A quarterfinals appearance, mind you, where they potentially could have beaten Liquid. They were very close to taking a map off of Liquid, and we all know Liquid, if they lose a map in that fashion, lose their mental game as well. And damn, dude, that was a chance for G2 to make it. G2 could have been semifinalists at Charlotte. They couldn't, which is true. So they ended up quarterfinals, but how the hell do you go from that to barely scraping by a win? Maybe it's because of internal dynamics. I don't know if that's true or not. It's just complete pure speculation. But it's extremely funny to see Fresh destroy G2 in that tweet.
Before you close this, section talking about
no worries.
Fresh, we could say that G2 is the Siege Ferrari.
Oh God,
they were the best team, dynasty, the history of the game, blah blah blah, and now everyone is making fun of them and memes and everything. Just like Ferrari nowadays. I'm just saying this because Shikari is a Ferrari fan. But
totally considering becoming a Mercedes fan at this point.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. But G2 they didn't have a bad game against Navi. I think that the lecture they had of the game was a really good one. But it's very hard to tell against Navi. Navi's very inconsistent. Very inconsistent. They got the first win against Secret, then they abruptly lost against Pons. Then they destroyed Outsiders, and then they lost against G2. It's so inconsistent. You don't know what they are going to to do in the next week, and they are facing BDS. Who knows? Maybe they are destroyed, or maybe they destroy BDS. It's a surprise, It's like Forrest Gump.
And there was I don't know whether it was a serious tweet or not, but I think Benjamaster tweeted out maybe the reason NAL is so close is because NAL is inconsistent. I feel that's projection over here. NAL is close as the international results prove. NAL is so close because all the teams in the NAL are very, very good. And even Mirage at this point, let's be real, Mirage can knock you off the perch if you have a bad day. So don't have a bad day. The rest of the 9 teams in NAL are very good. In EUL, I think what Benjamaster said actually applies. the EUL is like reasonably close, or like they're like these upset results, is because the teams in EUL are a lot more inconsistent, as you have shown with this Navi situation. Like, how the hell do you lose to Pones 7-2? What are you doing? And how do you lose to G2, a team that has just not been able to attack at all? You are playing on Clubhouse, and you let G2 win 3 attacks. What are you doing?
Yes. This inconsistency was seen in M&M last stage. M&M won the most difficult games of the stage, and then they lost to Pounds and Secret. And they didn't qualify for Charlotte. If they had won those games, they would have finished in second. Navi, maybe they are going through something similar. At the end of the stage, they will look back at the results and they will see that 7-2 result against Pons and say, if we had won this one, we would be in Berlin. And maybe that's what's going to happen. I don't know. I think that they have to solve these kind of issues, but it's very difficult right now. Europe is like a wild region because it's about who doesn't play the words. Europe is not in a good spot right now. Although we saw some flashes in Wolves and Rogue especially.
Yeah, these two teams, I think, are the highlights in EUL. I think EUL doesn't have very many highlights, and I guess Heroic are also potentially highlights, but we're kind of gonna not talk about Heroic because like they kind of disappointed in Charlotte, so they gotta prove themselves internationally before we start really hyping them up. On the other hand, Rogue and Wolves, they have shown us good stuff internationally before. Rogue, very famously in Sweden Major, were semi-finalists. Wolves in Charlotte didn't quite make it to the playoffs, but they have been making, I think, steady progress. And in the lead up to Charlotte, they had no org as well, and that's not fun. Not knowing whether you can make it. Yeah.
Honestly, I would like to correct yourself. I would like to correct you.
Yeah.
Wolves' former Team Vitality team is a roster that has always struggled internationally.
Yeah.
So and it's just not a one-time thing. Sweden Major Vitality, they finished the same, like outside of the group stage. They finished in 3rd place, I think. Then we have like other, like, if you go back in time, you see that it's a team that has never proved themselves internationally, not in
That's true, yeah.
in other majors or minors even. Well, minors maybe yes, but I cannot recall.
But they make it there.
Yeah, they of course you can you make it there, but what do you play? Do you play for fun? Do you play to win, or do you play like no? You play to win, right? Not just to make it.
Are you trying to
no?
bring
I'm not
back a certain press conference?
No. I didn't say it. I didn't say it. I didn't say it. Yes, I know it sounded like that. Yeah, that was my intention.
Nice.
But not my intention for you to like call it like that.
Yeah, right. No, that's a very, very good correction, honestly, Davi. That's a very important correction. You're right.
Yeah, you were mentioning Heroic and
Yeah, no, you're right. That's true. So I guess the difference between
Rogue
them and
the
Heroic...
same kind of.
Yes.
They had a very good Sweden Major. Well, very good. Unexpected, I would say, because if it wasn't because of that run, they wouldn't have qualified for 16 Invitational, unless they had qualified through the regional qualifiers. But we are talking of teams that internationally or historically they have been very inconsistent. But as of now, like if we talk about today, I would say that they are showing some good moments of Siege. Mowgli is crazy.
The eye test, right?
It's incredible. Mowgli had a really good game yesterday. Rise has been improving. Like
From the 0-12.
I don't know what happened on Bank against G2 where he finished with a 0-12 record. I don't know what
But
happened.
after that,
Maybe someone else was playing for him. I don't know, or he changed something in his diet. But now he's
on
flying.
fire. Yeah.
He's doing really good. But yeah, and then you have Rogue, Spoit's Rogue. We, we are going to see Spoit in an international
Very good
stage.
chance. Yeah.
If it continues like this, we are going to see we could see Bulo against Spoit in an international game.
Well, TSM's got to
That would be
qualify first,
incredible.
but
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that later. But yeah, and we're saying that Rogue and Wolves are the best teams right now in Europe. But then, if you look at what is their next opponent, Rogue and Wolves are playing each other next week.
Yeah. Well, that's gonna
Gonna
be, I
be-
think a high quality matchup.
Yeah.
A lot of people like the doom and gloom started in EUL like on play day 1. Like, oh, EUL looks like shit. EUL looks bad, and it got worse after play day 2, and then after play day 3. But despite that, I think like Rogue and Wolves by the eye test, I think have looked fairly good, and Heroic actually have looked pretty good as well. But they have been, I guess, they have struggled a little bit, specifically this week against Wolves, where they lost 7-4, where Wolves kind of really shut them down. As you said, Mowgli was very, very impressive. Rise has been extremely good, and both of them were vital to make Heroic look not like the stage 1 selves anymore. Instead, it looks like Wolves are the ones who might be on course for like a first place lockout. Maybe they beat everyone this stage, like depending on what happens against Rogue. Because realistically, let's be real, if Wolves beat Rogue, Wolves are probably not going to lose.
They are in Berlin.
Yeah,
if they win against Rogue,
like who else do they play? They play Secret, they play Na'Vi, they play BDS, they play Outsiders. Aside from Rogue, and then like maybe BDS, the other 3 matches are easy for Wolves. They don't really even have to like show that much, and Wolves can make it through. Wolves could be on because they played like the hard games, or like the hard games, quote unquote hard games. Because the quality, as we said, in EUL is kind of lacking. Wolves are looking really good. Heroic was one of their hardest games. They won. They could beat Rogue again. Rogue also, as we saw, had a big surprise loss on the opener to Eminem. So we'll see how that shapes up. But aside from Wolves and Rogue, I guess we just like let's quickly wrap up. Aside from EUL, actually, we have the EUCL starting off tonight as well, the qualifiers. You want to take us through? We've got a few teams that we release an article, teams to look out for.
I just saw a tweet saying that maybe X-Empire didn't check in.
Really?
I'm not sure.
No way. I mean, the only reason they would do that. The only reason they do that is Outsiders has like called them up and like said, "We are signing all of you guys."
I hope they check in, but no, but hopefully yes. But yeah, well, Challenger League closed qualifier, closed and open qualifiers is going to be quite interesting. Recently, like about an hour ago, we released an article about teams to watch. And we have like X-Empire lineup, literally X-Empire lineup. Karzeka is back, remember?
Yeah,
I think
SI-2019 Empire, the OG, the 10-12 Coastline Empire.
Exactly. So they are in the fight to get back to the Challenger League and then a potential run to the EUL. You also have 10-Star, who is a team from the UKIN, with some interesting players. You will say, if I'm not like mistaken, we are talking about a team with Jonka. Jonka is there. I'm not sure if Hungary is there as well. Um, and Savage comes from Tenster. Savage, the current team secret player. So they are a team who knows to spot talent. And no, sorry, Hungary is not playing there. It's I don't know how to pronounce his name, but it's Zenoxo, or however that's
Xenoxo, I
called.
think. Yeah.
Zenoxo, I think. Yeah. Former GSA player, very well known. He used to play for CC State Banks. And I don't remember. I don't remember the other team. Of Ovation, was it? Ovation, I think, was it?
Xenoxo? Oh, no, I remember. Let me just quickly pull it up.
I think it was
Yeah, Ovation. After that,
Ovation.
yeah. After
Ovation, yeah,
SSP, he
exactly.
joined Ovation. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He played Challenger League, I think. Yeah, he played Challenger League. Um, and yeah, he's a really good player. But yeah, then you also have Wild. Wild, we all know Wild. Aces is playing there. Corey is playing there. They recently qualified for the Saudi Arabian tournament with a prize pool of 2 million euros, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And then you have, the usual names like MKers, Rebels Gaming from Spain. Rebels Gaming had a perfect record in the regular phase. They are most likely going to win the Spain Nationals and qualify
Yeah.
via National League, but they are just playing just in case something happens. And I just want to point out something. I live in Barcelona, so I follow the Spain Nationals. There's a team called Principality who are going to play in the qualifiers, and Principality has a guy who's called Croxon. Croxon finished as Spain Nationals' highest fragger with more than 170 kills and an entry record of 40 entry kills, 4 and 0 entry kills, and just 8 open deaths. That's crazy. So
At
if you're
any
playing against a
level, at
team,
any level,
yeah, at
that is
any
wild.
level, like regardless of Spain national's
Yeah.
current state of form, um, it's insane. It's insane. And yeah, if you're playing against a team called Principality, or you see like your favorite team is playing against a team called Principality, watch out because maybe an upset is coming. So yeah, that's that's it. That's it. Yep, basically.
Yeah.
I just seen there's a team called John Terry.
Well, yeah, EUCL should be pretty good. But just remember, as an aside, we don't know whether NACL, and EUCL are going to be giving promotion to the winners at the end of the day.
Yeah.
We don't know what's happening over there, but like Hader, our writer, a very good writer, he had a piece that was published yesterday about why franchising is probably not coming to Siege. So check that out if you guys are worried that the reason that UCL and NACL might not give promotion is because of franchising. Franchising is probably not coming to Siege, or at least it will not be a good thing if it comes to Siege.
Nah.
So for many reasons, like and reasons that Ubisoft very likely have already looked at. So that's about like EUCL and EU. Let's move over. Speaking of NACL, let's move over to our final region today, as it is every day, every Friday.
North America.
North America, and big news out of North America. Wow, the newest, what was it called? The newest squad of the New Dream Squad.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? They have
I
Oxygen
know, I
Esports.
guess, yeah.
They have qualified to the Berlin Major already.
Yep.
Even though it's only
Yep.
one playdate left in NAL. I know it feels like already, but they only have one playdate left. But they have qualified. They're the first one to have locked in their place.
They have qualified for the Berlin Major like very soon compared to the other teams. But I would say that Oxygen has still to improve if they want to have a chance to win the Berlin Major. If you check the results, they have all been very very close results. North America in general has been very close.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think that they still have a little bit to improve to win a major or international competition. But they are absolutely getting there. Um, Now they just can just focus on the Berlin major. They have nothing to lose right now. But the funny thing, and I want to talk about this, Oxygen is facing Xset.
Mm-hmm.
Xset, Yoga
Yoga,
and Kino
Kino.
come from Oxygen. Okay, so you can Oxygen could say goodbye to Xset's hopes of qualifying to Berlin as
Yeah.
a revenge for Kino and Yoga leaving the squad.
Or
It's
they seem like
or
good friends. Yeah.
or good friends and but I don't want to talk about this because
Yeah, no,
I think it's
that's kind of
yeah.
suggesting competitive integrity or
Okay.
broken,
Yeah,
which is
exactly.
not
And we
what we're
should
suggesting.
avoid.
That's just it's just a
Yeah, we are
joke.
not suggesting.
That's a
We are
joke.
not. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
just memes, fun, blah blah blah. We are not suggesting
Also, we can
anything.
make those jokes because like we're not players, but especially if they're players, players can't make that joke because as you saw with Aces last year or like
Yeah.
last year,
Hmm.
you will get suspended.
Yeah,
They will
exactly.
treat it
Don't
as
do
if you're
that.
doing match fixing. So especially if you're players,
That. Do
screw
not
with
do
that.
that. And we didn't do that today.
Oh,
So
we
yeah,
are joking.
exactly.
But yeah,
Yeah,
no,
we're just.
like what a set of games this weekend, and I think
Yeah.
like Oxygen, they absolutely demolished DEZ, and then after that they got pushed back pretty hard by SSG,
Mm.
although they still qualified due to the other results. What
Hmm.
happened in the SSG game? It just looked like it was just SSG being a little bit better.
I think that Oxygen were trying some other things in attack. They were playing a lot with Amaru.
Hmm.
The usual attack through Kit's Hatch. It didn't work out, and SSG did a really solid job while defending. Oxygen had. I mean, Oxygen lost against SSG and still qualified, so that explains a lot. The team situation. They had
Yeah.
16 points. They knew that it was very very difficult to see them dropping out of the top four. So you can start practicing some other things that you have in mind to get ready for Berlin Major. These teams will have 5 weeks of preparation for the Berlin Major, which is crazy compared to other regions who will have 2 weeks or not even that.
Yeah.
But that's another topic. But yeah, Oxygen just played trying out some things and it was a good game. But SSG, they were playing for their major hopes. And remember that SSG qualified for the Saudi Arabian tournament. So
Yeah.
imagine that they qualified for the Saudi Arabian tournament, which is played between the 4th and the 7th of August, and then they have to play 1 week later in Berlin for the Berlin Major. So yeah, imagine.
Well, we'll see. But speaking of teams that are like chasing these final three spots,
Yeah.
Parabellum at one point were looking so good, and they're still second place.
Mhm.
But look, they took a hit. Sorry, Parabellum didn't. Sorry, they've looked better this week.
No.
TSM,
Paravenom had
the
a very
team,
good week.
yeah, TSM, the
Mhm.
team that they
Yeah.
beat, they're the ones who kind of like got pushed down this week fairly hard. They couldn't get 3 points against SSG, and then they got blown out of the water, like not even on the same page by
Mhm.
Parabellum. Now it's not over for TSM. They might be in 8th place, but
Mhm.
Exit also has 12 points, the same as them, and Parabellum, who are in second, are only 2 points above them. So
Mhm.
it's entirely possible. Like all they have to do is like get like maybe 2 points, and they should be all right. Let's assume like in this final
Yeah.
play, TSM wins. And then you have Parabellum also winning. Maybe Mirage surprises Dark Zero or something. Oxygen continues on their rampage. They beat Xset. And then you have, I don't know, SSG taking down Astralis. It's possible, I think, with a combination of results, that TSM still make it into the Berlin Major. And then we get maybe our Bolo versus Point matchup.
Yeah.
But it's been up and down for them. They have not really looked as good as they did in the first week.
Yeah, absolutely. TSM and Exit started very, very well.
Yeah.
But they just deflated or they disappeared. I don't know what happened. TSM, maybe something happened since Geo's missing out on what game was
he
it?
came back,
yeah,
so...
he came back, exactly.
Yeah.
It was against DC. But I don't know, just trying to find a reason to explain the disasters of this, just not this week, but both Exet and TSM have only won 1 point or 2 points. Yeah, 2 points from the last 9. So that's why they are in a critical situation right now. If they had continued with the trend, they would be like Berlin Mayor bounds right now. But it's not the case. TSM has a really a good shot at the Berlin Major still. They are facing Beast Coast. Beast Coast are playing to get 6 invitational points. If they win against TSM, they are going to get at least 115. And they finish in 5th, I think, last stage. I think I'm not mistaken in this one. So yeah, there's still Beast Coast are still playing for something, but TSM should win, especially if they are still in the race for Berlin. But X said, we talked about Oxygen before, it's going to be a tough game. Depends on how Oxygen plays. Yeah, like maybe they just, we have already been qualified, we are not going to show lots of strats, or we are going to try new things, and who knows. It's just going to it depends on how are they going to play. I think that the game of the week is going to be the Astralis against Space Station Gaming, though. Because
that's gonna be big.
It's the last one. Both teams are going to be fighting for the spots. So maybe we head to the final game and all the spots, or maybe 2 spots are still there, and head-to-head plays or round differential plays the important role here, because TSM has -4 round differential, which is quite bad, honestly.
Yeah, and yeah, someone also pointed out, like, the opening game is also the second game is also Parallel versus Sonics. Yeah, both teams have a chance to lose their major spot, and in specifically in Sonic's context, Sonics have a chance to lose their team, or rather lose their current roster, because Super has said pre-stage 2 and mid-stage 2 as well, if they do not qualify to the major in stage 2, there are changes coming up, and we might see Super probably, and he also said he's probably not going to be playing for much longer, which basically is kind of, he's spelling it out, it feels like, that if they don't qualify, he's gone, someone else takes his place, he coaches alongside, or he analyzes alongside Goddess. So we'll see how that works out. It's gonna be a crazy final play day. Just so hard to predict, honestly.
Yeah, we can. It's like any prediction. I'm
very excited to see Parabellum at an international event again, though. Like, because like people were like saying like, oh, Parabellum shouldn't have dropped Melted just to bring in Blaz, not Blaz, just to bring in Blaz, and Blaz has proven his worth twice over. We have not seen imports in the NAL work before Blaz. Let me just point out, right? Who are the previous imports?
Wait, what?
I mean, aside from like Exit, but I don't really count those as imports because they're like right there, like they're like same there. Like if you think about it, the first people to import were Sonics Confiance 11
Okay, yeah.
did not work
Confiance
out.
11, yeah.
Next major import
Alfama.
was Alfama over to United. That team got almost relegated, and then the team just
Yeah.
straight up left.
Mhm.
And then, of course, you have like Kino, Diaz, and Gomez, who were
But these
imports. But I think they were
have
playing in the NA Challenger League and stuff already
they
beforehand.
have been playing. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not like they
Yeah.
pulled them from like the BR6
They are not
or from
imports,
Serie
no.
B. Yeah, you can't really call them. You can't really call them imports. So
It would
the
be
fact,
like calling Hyper an import or
yeah,
Geometrics
exactly.
an import.
So Parabellum, right? Melted was playing pretty good. They dropped Melted. They brought in Blaz pre-stage 1, and so Melted always kind of had that sword hanging over his head, like, you are done after stage 1 with this team. And he gave a decent performance, and people were like, okay, look, Melted's not too bad. Are you sure you want to change your roster? Because track record for imports has been bad. Track record for Blaz hasn't been the best, even though he himself has looked fairly good. But he's been on like Market Academy, he's been on Train Hard, then he was on Penta, then Train Hard again.
Yeah.
Like in like Heroic, the Heroic that got relegated, mind you. So like people were saying like, you're bringing in Blaz, is this really gonna work out? And bam, hell yes,
Yep.
it has worked out. So I think I love to see that, and it's just very, very fun to see them really switch on and really have a very good chance of making it. Even if they maybe only get 2 points against Sonics, I think that they still, they're still almost certainly qualified. Wait, if they get 2 points, are they locks for qualification? Yeah, I think so. I think if they get 2 points, yeah, because 16, they'll bring down 16 points, and then Exet, which is and on 5th place, can only go up to 15. So yeah, Parabellum only really need to get 2 points. They can even lose in overtime, and based on other results, still make it through. But of course, that will start coming down to round differential, which is against Exet. That's not a sure shot, but against Dark Zero, Space Station, and TSM, it can still work. So basically, Parabellum are almost in. And I think maybe people can start getting hyped to see Parabellum in Berlin.
Yep.
Yeah. But I think that's all, is it, for
Yeah,
NAL?
I think so.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Which means, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the game.
For the game.
Our stats game. And for NAL, this is going to be the last week we're going to feature them. Because NAL is going to end as my throat completely dries out. Jeez. Yeah. So, last week I started, I think, David, or was it you who started?
I don't remember. I think I started last week.
Alright, if you started, then I'm going to start with you. And for those who are tuning in for the first time, how this game works is at the end of the SiegeGG Live episode, we just play this game where we give the other person a stats line, and you guys as well. You're going to be hearing it. And we get you and the other person to guess which player we are talking about. So these are cumulative stats across however much of the season has elapsed at this point, and you have to guess the player. So you can give as many or as few stats as you want, and just basically play the game. So, if I'm starting, this is going to be fun. I am going to go with this guy. 1.20 rating, 38.27 on the KD, 8 and 2 on the entry, and Ayana Wamai main. He's from APAC.
Can you repeat the KD? No, the rating.
1.20. By the way, David last week was on fire. I think he guessed everything except for one. 1.20 rating, 38.27 KD, 8-2 entry, and Yana Wamai.
I mean, APAC has been dominated by Damwon Kia, so I'm going to go for a player from Damwon Kia, and someone who plays Yana is Yaz. So is it Yaz?
Ah, that is correct. It is Yas. Shit, I should have gone for the
Let's
other
go.
guy. Because
Let's go.
All right, I'm gonna have some fun with the next one. You don't you worry. All right, it's your turn. You're too good at this game. I need to give you harder stuff. Your turn.
I'm doing BR6
Okay.
now. I'm not going to give you Casey because it's 148 and that's
Way too easy.
that says a lot. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Rating 1.19. KD 5441. Entry 6 and 1.
Damn.
KOST of 70. A very good survival, 35%. Kind of good survival.
I mean, it's pretty good.
2 clutches, 6 plants, and he has disabled once. I don't know if that helps you. Mains Nomad and Smoke.
Nomad and Smoke. Shoot. And the rating is 1.19.
1.9, yeah.
So it's fairly good. In the top 10 players, maybe, in BR6.
It's in the top 5 players right now.
Top 5. JV92? JV?
No.
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 Someone in chat's guessing Patoxy.
Kind of close.
No, Patoxy's not the Nomad main. I don't think so.
Close. They are close, but Patoxy means Sophia by far. Like
Yeah,
Sophia
I
is
was
Patoxy's
like
favorite
pretty
operator.
sure.
Just one hint. He is in the top 5 players, but his team is not in the inside the top 5. So that excludes that excludes
FaZe
sorry?
have
Yeah.
a? Does FaZe have a?
That wait a second. That excludes W7M, One, Black Dragon, Furia, and FaZe. So it's not a FaZe player.
FaZe is not in the top 4, are they? It's not. I do not know. Toxie. Yeah, no, I don't know. I give up. I'm totally lost. Who's it?
Do you want me to tell you, or are you going to?
Yeah. Who is it? Sorry, tell me.
Shikar, I cannot hear you now. Maybe
Hello?
you're talking and I cannot hear you.
Hello? Can you hear me? Hello? What up, hello? Wow. We seem to be having technical issues. I believe you guys can still hear me. Hello? What are we watching here? We're watching technical difficulties.
I hear you now.
Nice. Okay, fantastic. Alright, no, okay. I have
Did
no idea.
you guess it? Did
no,
you say...
I have no idea who the player is. Doug, tell me.
It's from MIBR, Falls.
Falls. Okay, I would definitely would never have guessed Falls. There's no way.
I didn't expect him to be like so high rated.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
Poor MIBR. He's working out. He's super hard, but it's not quite working for him. Right, I guess it's my turn again to give you a player. It is time for an NA player. Oh, this is gonna be real fun. This man
should be NA right now.
Yeah, it's gonna be NA. This man has a 1.09 rating, 7666 KD, but a 7-8 entry, so -1, and his mains are Finka and Alibi. Basically useless information because like half the fraggers are.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck.
Who is this man?
Because the names that come to mind are Gunnar and Grixer.
Yeah.
Gunnar, last time I checked, he had like lots of entry kills. So he cannot be like 7-7. It's impossible. Then Grixer, I thought that Grixer was like top 5 players maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that saying Grixer would be wrong. Is it a sweater maybe?
Is it sweater? No, it is not sweater.
Oh shit.
One more chance.
Is it maybe Merc?
No, it is not Merc. In fact, you haven't even got the team close. The player is someone we talked about just now.
Just now?
Blaz.
No way.
That is Blaz. Yes.
No way.
Really?
The second best French player in NA ever.
I think second best French player in the world right now, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, like he's
going
having
to win the World Cup.
Yeah. Right, now final player for you to give me.
Last one?
European one, yes, because
Yeah.
we've got a European F1 qualifying to watch.
Yeah. I know. Okay. 1.03 rating. 32-29. Entries 4 opening kills, 2 opening deaths. KOST of 57. Has clutched once, has disabled twice, and mains Sledge on attack and Jaeger on defense.
Have we talked about this guy today?
We have talked about this guy.
It's Rise.
It is Rise, yeah.
Yeah, I knew.
Yeah, it is.
It is Rise. It's perfect. It's too easy. I was like, that has to be Rise. Like
You
the
thought
was-
you.
No, I
Sorry,
didn't even hear the mains, and I was like, this has to be Rise. This sounds
Yeah.
perfectly like Rise.
Yeah.
You were saying?
Have you
Sorry?
seen the lack of? Have you seen the lack of Finca mains in Europe?
Yeah, it's definitely surprising, and maybe why they're
Yeah.
struggling. At
Yeah,
least
maybe.
a little bit.
No. The LMG goes brrr, but it's not in Europe. That doesn't happen here.
Yeah.
Maybe when the LMGs are nerfed, maybe we see Europe on the top.
Yeah, on the top step, and like NA and Brazil just freaking
Yeah.
vanish.
Yeah.
After that. Yeah, maybe that'll happen. But yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens starting today. In 55 minutes, we've got the BR6 Super Week coming up, and then we'll see how everything else shapes up. That's been SiegeGG Live, episode 21. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. It's been fantastic. Pausey Sata is saying, yeah, maybe if NA and LATAM forget to shoot back. Oh, we'll see. It's happened before. Stranger things have happened, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. I've been Sugar Gupta, and with me, the one and only David, and we will catch you next week, same time, to bring you a very, very interesting recap, because NA and BR6 will have completed. Yeah, see you next week, same time. Bye.
Bye.